Most people who start investing don't even understand or know what their goal is. Instead, they just know that they would like to have more money in the future than they do now. That's good, but what is your strategy for getting there? How much money do you actually need to reach your personal goal? An excellent way is to invest $100,000 in the S&P 500. In this video, I'll show you how to do it and how long it will take you to do it based on how much you invest, as well as why you should set that amount as your target. And I'm going to give you my top 3 suggestions for really making that happen. You may live the way you desire in financial freedom if you work on these 3 for a limited period of time in your life. Let's get to that $100,000 immediately. Over the past 100 years, the S&P 500 has statistically increased by 10.4% a year on average, with dividends reinvested, despite all the dips, depressions, and recessions. Therefore, if you invested $100,000 in the S&P 500 today and did not add another dollar, you would have at least $260,000 at the end of 10 years. Without spending one additional cent, you would have $720,000 in 20 years. If you invested $100,000 in the S&P 500 today and didn't add another dollar for the next 30 years, you would have $2 million. For the following 40 years, you would have $5.2 million. We began to understand why investing $100,000 in the S&P 500 would be a wise move. Let's discuss the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is essentially an index fund that includes the top 500 or so American businesses. Therefore, when you purchase one share of the S&P 500, you are actually purchasing a small portion of 500 of the best companies. The method I recommend for investing in the S&P 500 is to purchase an ETF called VOO. In general, VOO is identical as the S&P 500. And if you actually compare the holdings of the S&P 500 and those of VOO, I won't get into all the intricacies that exist between the two. With an expense ratio of just 0.03%, it is exactly the same in terms of percentage. VOO is one of the most affordable ETFs available for what you get, which essentially means that for every $10,000 invested in this fund, you'll only have to pay $3 in fees. To me, that's a great value. Your risk is significantly lower than it would be with individual equities, which is the main reason you're investing in this, and the reason I do this in particular. Your entire portfolio would suffer if you had $100,000, and for example, Apple had a bad year or two and its stock dropped by 20%, as opposed to when you had $100,000 in an index fund or ETF, particularly one that is so diversified with over 500 firms. It should balance out and at least keep your risk reasonably reduced. VOO is not just diversified into 500 different firms, it is also diversified because it is divided into 11 distinct sectors. If one or two of the companies decline, a few of the other ones will likely rise. This pretty much covers all bases in terms of information technology, health, finances, energy, and utilities. You're probably thinking at this time that investing in the S&P 500 or VOO is a smart idea, and that owning $100,000 would be a great idea. However, the question is, how do I reach $100,000? I'm pleased you asked. Let's examine how long it would take to build up that very first $100,000 in the account by investing a certain amount each month in the S&P 500. If you invested $100 per month, it would take you 23 years to reach $100,000. If we invested $200 per month to acquire you $100,000, it would take you 17 years. Now, if you invested $400 each month, it would take you 12 years to accumulate $100,000. And if you invested $800 per month, it would take 8 years. If you invest $1,000 a month in the S&P 500, it will take you 6.5 years to accumulate $100,000. What this essentially tells us is that if you want to achieve $100,000 in cash and would prefer to do sooner rather than later, you're going to need to do something that almost all people are not prepared to do. How much do you desire financial freedom then? How desperately do you want to lose your 9-to-5 job? How much would you like to be able to visit the beach on a random Wednesday without having to request a day off from work. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions about investing. Let's return to the video. Here are the key 3 suggestions that will enable you to truly reach that $100,000 at a young age if you're ready to make it happen. The reason the first item on my list is at the top is that it's something you can start doing right away, and ideally that you already are. If not, it's all about accepting the free money. At your company, I'm sure they give you a 401k match. This sum of money is in addition to any salary or hourly wage you receive from them. They will reward you as long as you contribute a portion of your income to saving for retirement. In order to maximize my contribution and the amount that my employer will match, I structured my 401k plan to be an S&P 500 fund. Therefore, if you get to set aside 5% of your income, and they're going to add another 5% on top of that, it really adds up and is a way to use other people's money to help you reach your goal of $100,000 faster. You're going to have to work hard for number 2 of this big 3. In this example, you need to identify your biggest expense and consider ways to remove it or significantly reduce it. Recall that I stated you must perform a task that other individuals are not willing to do. It may get a bit uncomfortable, but keep in mind that this is only for a few lengths of time, and that as soon as you can reach that $100,000, you may stop paying that living expense, which is typically your mortgage or rent. I need you to do everything you can to reduce that. So those of you who are renting an apartment should keep in mind how quickly it just rises up without you having to add dollars forever. If you own a property, it's very simple to rent one room on Airbnb or get a long-term renter. When you own the place to yourself, it's time to recruit a roommate because you'll reduce your rent expenditure in half. Again, not the most enjoyable thing in the world, but we must keep that end in mind. Very important point on this one is that simply eliminating or cutting in half the expense is the initial step. However, you must be careful not to spend all of the extra money you now possess on foolish things. At this stage, you must exercise extreme discipline and put the excess money right into your investment. The final piece of advice will be to work on raising your income in order to get closer to that $100,000 more quickly and completely change your life. There are various methods to accomplish this, but one of the best is to level up your abilities to make yourself a more valuable employee and then apply for a new job to gain new skills. Likewise, leaving a place you enjoy or where your friends may be will be uncomfortable, but the simplest method to make more investments is to simply have more funds to invest with, so you have to do what you have to do. Moreover, if you do not want to leave your current position, you can still develop your current talents and establish a side business. One of my favorites is to simply learn web design. There are so many people in your community who would love to hire you to assist them with their website. Typically, professionals like dentists, chiropractors, and even doctors are very good at what they do, but they struggle to effectively communicate that expertise, and the majority of their websites appear to have been created in the 1980s. These people also have a lot of disposable income, and they wouldn't mind paying you $1,000 to redesign their website. Again, similar to step number 2, you must be sure to take that extra cash and be disciplined enough to invest it. If you follow these 3 steps, I can assure you that we will reach that $100,000 very quickly. I still invest even at the height of this market downturn because right now we're in a little bit of a global recession, and everything you'll see on TV or the news is quite negative about investing and making investments in stocks in general. Hope you have learned something from this video. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for you to be updated on our latest videos. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Want to learn more and be more financially literate? Click on the next videos we have in our channel, showing on the screen right now.